Hi, first graders. This is Ms. Choi. We will be continuing our studies on American symbols. Today, we will reread the text George Washington and Barack Obama and answer questions about the text. Follow along as I read the directions. Reread George Washington and Barack Obama to learn how they showed their leadership in the United States of America in similar and different ways. Answer the questions below using complete sentences and appropriate grammar and punctuation. Be sure to use evidence from the text to support your answers. Okay, let's get started. George Washington. Introduction. George Washington was the first president of the United States. He was born in Virginia in 1732. He grew up on a farm. George went to school for a short time, but he mostly studied at home. Early life. George began work as a surveyor at age 16. In 1759, George married Martha Custis. She and her two children came to live with George. They lived at his plantation called Mount Vernon. Life's work. The Revolutionary War began in 1775. George led the army of American colonists. They fought and won against Great Britain. In 1787, George led a group to form the government of the new United States of America. Later years. In 1789, George was elected the first U.S. president. He helped plan the capital city, Washington, D.C., which was named for him. George was president for 8 years. Many people wanted him to serve longer, but he said no. Contributions. After serving as president, George went home to Mount Vernon. He died in 1799. George fought for and helped to shape the United States. Americans remember him as the father of his country. Now let's read about Barack Obama. Introduction. Barack Obama was the first Black president of the United States. He was born on August 4, 1961 in Honolulu, Hawaii. His mother, Ann Dunham, was from Kansas. His father, Barack Obama Sr., was from Kenya. Education. Barack went to school in Honolulu, Hawaii, and in Jakarta, Indonesia. He went to college at Columbia University and graduated in 1983. In 1988, he went to Harvard Law School. Work and family. Barack moved to Chicago when he finished school. He met a lawyer named Michelle Robinson. Barack and Michelle were married in 1992. Their daughters, Malia and Natasha, were born in 1998 and 2001. Life's work. Barack decided to help others by working in politics. In 1996, he was elected to the Illinois State Senate. In 2004, Barack became a U.S. Senator. He was elected U.S. President in 2008 and again in 2012. Contributions. In his first years as president, Obama passed a new healthcare bill. It provided better care for the poor. In 2009, he won a Nobel Peace Prize. As the first Black president, he inspired all people to work towards their dreams. Now let's look at our questions and try the first one together. How did both George Washington and Barack Obama help people? Remember, boys and girls, we can always go back to the text to help us answer the questions. Let's start by going back to the section about George Washington. Here we see in the section about George Washington's life's work that George led the army of American colonists and they fought and won against Great Britain. I'm going to underline that because that's a really important fact about him. Okay. It also tells us that he led a group to form the government of the new United States of America. And that's why Washington, D.C. is named after George Washington. Now let's look at our section on Barack Obama. Here in contributions, it tells us that Barack Obama passed the new healthcare bill so he can help everyone in the community. I'm going to underline that part. He was also the first Black president of the United States, and this really inspired people to work towards their dreams. Go back to answer the question now.